Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Places in News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we will be discussing 7 important places that have come up in news in last 1 week which are important from the perspective of your exam. We will be covering all the details around it, the significance, the location and other things. Let us start with the Saranda forest located in the state of Jharkhand. Now when you talk about Saranda forest, it is located in Singhbum district of Jharkhand in the southern area of this very state. Now if you talk about this particular forest, you will get to know that it is known for not just the sal forest, it is also one of the most important mineral ores reserves that is found in the country as well as in the given state, because this lies in the part of Chota Nagpur plateau and it has biodiversity, rich biodiversity present. Now the question is why this is in news. This is in news because Supreme Court has gone ahead and asked Jharkhand to declare this as a wildlife sanctuary so as to ensure the conservation in this area. Now can you tell me in the comment section that which particular agency is responsible for declaration of wildlife sanctuaries, their monitoring, conservation, etc. In the comment section you can put that. Now when we are talking about this particular news, this becomes important to understand the significance of this location. So we will be moving to understand the significance of this location from multiple dimensions. If we talk about ecology and environment, we get to understand that it has the largest sal forest ecosystem in India. It has elephant corridors, it has orchids, medicinal plants, and this is a classic case where you get to see conservation as well as mining. As I just mentioned, that it is part of Chota Nagpur plateau, which is the mineral hub of our country. Another important factor, dimension that comes in for this particular location is the security dimension, because it is another left-wing extremism hotspot. Even though left-wing extremism in recent times has gone down, it was prominent and it remains sensitive. So it is one of India's most sensitive left-wing extremism zones. Forest cover, it is the forest cover that facilitates the Maoist shelter as well as the movement. So it facilitates as a case study for internal security as well as counter-insurgency. Other factors such as tribal and governance, because we have tribes such as Ho, Munda, which are dependent on forest livelihoods. It also highlights the FRA rights, the displacement concerns, and it highlights the need, this particular region highlights the immense need for inclusive governance in forest regions. And the last but not the least, the economic dimensions, because this region is also known for the iron ore deposits which are present in great number. As I just shown in the map, there are two regions which are present in Jharkhand which are known, if you can see this in the given map, which are known for the iron ore deposits, both of them lying south in the particular state. Now this makes this region important diversity wise, biodiversity wise, tribal governance, left-wing extremism as well as economic factors as well. So it is known for the mining, the revenue that comes in from there, the forest degradation issues, and it has been in highlight. Now we will be moving to the next location, that is Belém in Brazil. The next location is Belém, Brazil, which is known for its location at this point of time. It lies at the mouth of Amazon River. As of now, it not only represents this whole system, but the environmental conservation efforts that are going on across the globe, because this location is in news, because as of now when we speak, this particular region is responsible for COP30, that is Conference of Parties for UNFCCC, that is United Nations Framework Convention for Climate Change. This is going on from 10th to 21st of November, and it is being considered as one of the most important conferences which can lead to a turning point in the global conservation efforts. If we talk about the location of this particular city, we get to see that this is the capital of Para state, which is in northern Brazil. I have just highlighted this. You can see it here. and it is also part of the equatorial rainforest belt which is present in South America. Now, when we are talking about the significance of this particular location, it sits at the highlight of climate diplomacy as of now, because COP30 is being conducted there. Another important thing that you have to understand for COP30, that the recent idea is to not conduct such important climate events at the regular meeting points that were considered. So, in idea to bring in the urgency required with conservation, and that's why this conference of parties has been placed right in the heart of Amazon forest. So it becomes the fulcrum of climate diplomacy. This is a major event which will shape climate governance for next 5 years. The whole focus is on climate justice, global governance for climate, and global South leadership, where Belém will be known for, if anything comes out, it will be known as a turning point for conservation. Furthermore, when we talk about another important dimension is the Amazon and ecology. It is not about just the world's largest rainforest, which is a major carbon sink. It is also the world's largest river and the whole ecosystem that exists around it in the equatorial belt itself. So as of now, here we get to see deforestation, which is directly affecting global rainfall patterns, which is important. We save the lungs of the earth, and Belém here sits as a symbol of the fact that Amazon is right at the center of the fight of climate change pinpoint. We have other socio-economic dimensions where we have deforestation, but a developing country like Brazil is also focusing on economic development, and we have indigenous cultures, tribe, which are right in the Amazon forest, as well as traditional ecological knowledge which needs to be conserved. Now, on this note, we will be moving to our next location, which is Luanda in Angola. Angola is the city which sits on the coast of Southwest Africa, and Luanda is the capital of Angola here. If you see in the given map, you will find that it is the southwest coast which I am talking about, just on the side of Atlantic Ocean. Now, why is this in news? This is in news because our President Draupadi Murmu made a visit to this country, and we have partnered with Angola in critical areas, especially during this given visits. There have been multiple agreements which have been signed on energy, defense, diamonds, digital infra, agriculture, and most importantly, the idea has been to strengthen India and Africa ties in here. Furthermore, another important dimension that we need to understand with regards to significance, that it is not about India-Africa partnership, it is also about India's strategic interests. So in this situation, Angola is basically part of India's new effort to get in touch and push efforts for Africa, where there will be cooperation in health, technology, education, and food processing. As I said, it is also about the strategic interests of India. Energy security forms the main point here. Angola happens to be a major crude oil supplier, and India in coming times is planning to diversify the sources of import for crude oil, be it Venezuela, be it US, be it Angola. So here we are focusing on petro energy links as well. And in coming times, we are looking for opportunities for LNG and refining partnership. Furthermore, it has also a geopolitical angle in here, where India is trying to balance the Chinese influence, which is already predominantly present in Africa. Angola is the part of South Atlantic network, which is important for India and the global diplomacy, where India is aiming to lead the global South. Furthermore, Angola is important for maritime routes, naval cooperation prospects in the coming times. And when we are talking about the development dimension, India is expanding digital public goods, fintech in Angola, skill development and training. So basically, it is a give and take of the goods, where India is facilitating Angola in the things it needs, be it skill development, be it training, and Angola is partnering for other factors where it can secure India's energy security, global presence, etc. Now we will be moving on to the next location here, that is Thimphu in Bhutan. Bhutan happens to be one of the friendly neighbors that we have, and Thimphu is the capital of Bhutan here. When we are talking about Bhutan, the strategic location of Bhutan in the North India also becomes important because of this tri-junction that Bhutan shares with India and China, and also its proximity, Bhutan's proximity to India's chicken neck corridor, which is present right there. So here having a friendly nation serves for us, and this is in news because recently our Prime Minister visited and met Bhutan's fourth king, also attended Global Peace Festival, was part of moving Kal Chakra. The agreements on hydropower, digital links, border infrastructure were signed, and India also supports Bhutan's 13th five-year plan. This comes exactly after 1 month when 2 rail links to Bhutan have been finalized. Can you tell me in the comment section which rail links from where to where in Bhutan we are talking about which have been finalized? I have already covered that in detail in Flash News. Now when we are talking about Thimphu and Bhutan, let's understand the significance here. The most important significance comes here of hydropower diplomacy, because Bhutan supplies clean energy to India, which comes through hydropower. New projects basically help in enhancing grid connectivity and climate friendly growth that India is also looking forward to. Furthermore, there is also a geopolitical stability that Bhutan provides us. As I said, there is a tri-junction, and in this, keeping Bhutan on our side is important, because recently the Bhutan-China boundary talks have been taking place, and they will have direct strategic implication for India. And Bhutan also serves as a buffer for India's chicken neck Siliguri corridor. Furthermore, if we talk about economic development, India has stood as a real partner for Bhutan because India finances major roads, schools, hospitals and digital infra. Bhutan's economy is heavily tied to Indian markets because it is landlocked in that particular vicinity. So the facilitation by India in terms of rail link, which I was just talking about, that is fully funded by India. India is going to look into the part which is present in India, it is going to be financed by railways. The part that goes to extend in Bhutan, it is being looked after by the ministry. And comes another important factor is the cultural and people links that we get there. So the century-old Buddhist connect is present between both countries, and importantly, the open border which facilitates movement of people and goods, which is very fundamental for their economy. Now let us move on to the next location. The next location that we are going to talk about is Chambal River. Chambal River happens to be one of the tributaries. We have right-hand tributary of Yamuna River, and it flows through Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and UP, and it is known for deep ravines, basically the bad lands it creates. So it has been in news because 30 gharials have been released into the Chambal River so that there is boost to conservation effort. So here, can you tell me in the comment section what is the conservation status of gharials in our country? Now when we are talking about Chambal River, as I have explained you the location, let us look into it. When we are talking about Chambal River, it is the right bank tributary and it passes through UP, then Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh as well. It has tributaries such as Kali Sindh, Parvati and Banas. So these are further tributaries of Chambal. And when we are talking about the significance of Chambal, it is known for its biodiversity and ecology because it supports not just gharials but dolphins, turtles, migratory birds. It is one of India's least polluted river, which shouldn't be an achievement but it is. And National Chambal Sanctuary, it is an important riverine ecosystem that exists. Other than that, if we are talking about the physical geography, the ravines, which I am talking about, the badlands, are formed due to soil erosion. Such river is, let's just say river is moving and such formation of ravines, badland landscape which is known for the Chambal is seen there. Apart from that, it is also an important point for environmental governance because threats such as sand mining or be it the excessive fishing or damming exist there. So the integration with river basin management is very important and it is a way forward which is required, and it can be a case study for you for sustainable river conservation as well. When we are talking about the socio-economic dimension, it is known for its tourism in Palighat and Dholpur, and which serves as a livelihood for local communities which are present there. Moving to the next location on this particular point, the next location that we are going to talk about is Lake Urmia. So when we are talking about Lake Urmia in Iran, as you can see, it is located in a landlocked situation because it is a closed lake. Here we find Urmia to be a salt lake. So it is located in the northwest Iran, and the reason it is in news as of now because there is extreme drought crisis in Iran, and satellite images of key lakes such as Lake Urmia show that the extent of the extreme drought crisis. Let me show you an image which highlights that this was Lake Urmia back in 2018, and recent images have shown it that it has nearly turned red. Why it has turned red? Because most of it has gone dry, and it highlights the drought crisis which is present in Iran. It is one of the worst droughts that Iran has seen in last 60 years, because of which lakes are drying rapidly. There are multiple salt storms, there is ecological escape, and government has warned of this extreme situation where they might have to evacuate the capital city of Tehran altogether. So when we are talking about Lake Urmia, it becomes important for us to understand when we are talking about environmental disasters such as shrinking lake, where it increases the salinity, the ecosystem collapse, dust storms, salt storms create health hazards, and Aral Sea scale environmental crisis is created. Can you tell me in the comment section where is Aral Sea located? Furthermore, another important factor that is highlighted here is the climate change dimension. Declining rainfall, hotter summers, mismanaged irrigation which is going to affect the production, which is going to affect the food, which is going to affect the inflation as well. And it serves as a model example. If we do not adapt to climate, we are looking at worse and worse situation. So it is a classic example for climate adaptation failure as well. Then we have socio-political impacts, where we get to see threat to livelihoods of millions in the surrounding provinces. Forced migration patterns will be seen from here, and especially given Iran's situation in the geopolitical scenario, this is going to be a sensitive matter, that how migration is going to be handled. Other than that, Tehran's water security is at risk. That means if the capital is at risk, there is a huge geopolitical concern in itself. Apart from that, there is an international dimension because Lake Urmia is not an isolated lake. This whole thing is part of a broader Middle Eastern water stress zone, and it can directly influence the regional stability also and induce this whole situation into a humanitarian crisis as well. Now moving to the last location for this week, that would be Pak Strait, that falls in between India and Sri Lanka. So if you look at this particular line, this will help you to understand that what Pak Strait is. But before I move into more details, let me explain that what exactly is a strait. So when we are talking about a water body which lies between two lands, it is known as a strait. Now if you see this particular water body which lies between two lands, this is what is known as Pak Strait. Now Pak Strait has been disputed for many years because of the maritime boundary issue. Another issue that it raises is the claim over this Kachathivu island and multiple things. But recently it has been in news because of the fishing troubles, again the fishermen who have been arrested between this region, and it has been a contention point for very long between India and Sri Lanka. So when we talk about Pak Strait, we have to understand, again it is a pinpoint between India-Sri Lanka relations, because multiple times we have seen fishermen conflict which have raised up to major bilateral issues between the country. There have been regular diplomatic negotiations on this, confidence building through joint patrolling, etc. Furthermore, there is a very important economic dimensions because of which we get to see the conflict, because this is a vital fishing ground for the Tamil Nadu state community, the fishing community that lies there. So we have prawns, tuna, reef fisheries, and this also calls for long-term fishing reforms. Other than that, the security dimension here is, apart from the geopolitical angle, that this particular route and region is prone to smuggling, drug controls, contraband, etc. The refugee inflow from Sri Lanka during any sort of crisis is seen through this route, and this is a strategic zone which lies close to Rameshwaram and Jaffna as well. Apart from that, important environmental and climate dimension, it is home to seagrass meadows, dugongs, which are important in our efforts of conservation of environment and biodiversity. Can you tell me in the comment section what is the conservation status of dugongs? There are multiple coral patches which are present with high biodiversity, and because of this we get to see bottom trawling, which is destroying marine habitat, which also calls for conservation efforts. Now that was all for today. We have covered all 7 places. I'll be back with new places next week. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.